Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the pre-show and after-show Flat Earth Debate goodness. If you'd like to support this channel, there is also a super chat that runs alongside this show while it's premiering, and while I set up for the second live show, which will go out for the Nathan Oakley 1980 audience in a moment, I will pass you over to our panel who'll chat while I set up for that. So let's see who's on the panel.
Now it's critical because he's literally at the tipping point of the height of that stanchion. It's literally, because the stanchion's like nearly half the distance, it's acting kind of like a seesaw in terms of parallax, because it is going to parallax with the mountains as he goes up and down that by a few feet, let alone meters. So it's a case of like, he hasn't proven that he actually took the pictures where he says he did, and we can't validate his claim as true. Do I think he's disingenuous? Yeah. Do I think he's dishonest? Yeah. Do I think he's faked his evidence? Don't know at this point.
It's not that, Anthony. Again, that's another good point. For the application of the mathematics that's being quoted by Soundly requires that level transit, and as honest and genuine as Miles may or may not be, it is impossible. If you think about Jerem with his laser lights over 6 miles and it was 30, 40 foot up in the air, and he thinks it's level according to the spirit level. You require that laser light, that center of that camera, to be 100% correct to do that maths. And there is absolutely no way in the world you can get that shot. To level the center of the camera with the exact top of the bridge 45 kilometers away, it's just an impossibility. And now all that error will magnify out and skew the parallax perspective of the picture. And that's what we're seeing there. So I don't think it is usable in the true sense, the Soundy maths. But on that, mate, can you ask him for the spreadsheets just so we can have a look at what he's doing? Anthony.
Adam, on that note with Soundly's bridge, I got into Red's Rhetoric's forum, and there's quite a few people are actually trying, from what they're hearing, that Jose is going to be there, but they're also going to have other people too to observe and take pictures on that curved bridge. So hopefully we can get some repeated observations and maybe some couple of drone pictures.
Yeah, I heard the name Flatter Perth might be there on the 4, 5, and 6 of January. That's the dates are going to go, 4, 5, and 6 of January. Soundly confirmed he's going to be there the 4th, 5th, and 6th of January. If I'm not mistaken, probably it's a 50% chance that Red Rhetorics himself is going to be there 4, 5, and 6 of January. And I don't know who else, but at least Soundly and myself and probably Reds are going to be there.
Well, what it looks like, it's probably going to be more than just you guys, other bowlers too.
Excellent. Jesse Kozlowski, that's his name. I think he's going to be there too, yeah.
Right, guys, I'm gonna do one before the next show starts because I'm still hungover. That's why I look so bad, Riley. I've had to get up this morning, run the line for football, and my head's down. So,
get some water, man.
Cool, man.
have a good one, Ashel. I'm gonna get my head down and listen to you guys. So I'll catch you all later.
Thanks for joining, Adam.
Oh, Jose, chocolate. Cheers for turning up last night. I gave you guys spanners.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, man.
Them with force, gentlemen.
That was awesome. Good looking out, Adam.
God bless, Adam. God bless, guys. See you later.
No whispering. Come on.
So does anybody think that Paul guy is going to come back on today?
Is he full? Why? There's nobody that's normal would come on when literally been exposed as being cheating. I noticed that there was a contrasting comment in chat saying, what's the problem if it wasn't meant to be a one-to-one? That's like an admission that the GeoStreamer one should have been basically outed as sneaky by ballers, but
yeah, he joined a panel show where there's many members, you know, and he was, I mean, we were letting him talk, but he couldn't say like, oh no, I'm talking to some of the guys already over here, so it's nothing wrong with that. You just gotta admit it. That's all.
I agree. There's nothing wrong with it if you're honest about it, but obviously you have to hide it if you're not going to tell people. It's like when I went on with Miles' show, I had to say to Miles, listen, I'm recording this for my own channel. That okay? And he's like, yeah, okay. He didn't really want it to, but if he wants to hang out, he's going to have to agree to it, isn't he? But if you're honest about it and you don't hide it, then that's okay. But if you do hide it and you get spotted, it makes it instantly look dishonest.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by The Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Physics Warrior, Jose, Flatten Earth, Chocolate Saiyan, Warren and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Greetings all.
Yo, yo.
Hello, hello.
Hello. What?
Afternoon.
Gravity.
Oh, hey, by the way, about the Wookiee sound, I was thinking. I think that Wookiee vocabulary is kind of a crossover between a bear and a sand grinder. What do you think?
That's lovely. I'm pleased we're not coming off looking like idiots. Any signs of curvature?
Hold on. Before we go to that, a shout out to... Hey, did he change his name? To Rumpus Troll, a moron. Thank you for being there. It's awesome.
No signs of curvature.
Yes.
Axial rotation of the Earth-based variety. Any signs of that?
Nope.
Begging the question, look at the light in the sky is the only way you can extrapolate their rotation.
As always, we'll get to our eventually, but you're a good man. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
No.
Just an aberration.
No, are we?
Yes.
We've had a challenge over you. We've had a challenge over the use of
What's
the word
next?
aberration, Arwin.
Molten iron core?
We had a casualty out of this subject, so Mark Doxey got so sick of this subject that he's basically said, I've had enough of you being assholes, along with having grief from somebody that gave him a load of grief. A flat earther at his, fairly impromptu meetup that he had out in Ireland, and apparently someone came and gave him grief. Unbelievable. I read between the lines in his message, but I think it was over this subject. But there we go.
What kind of grief?
I'd have to paraphrase what he said in his message. It was something like the guy accused him of not being a pure flat earther or something along those lines. But, enough to make him think, sod this. And I don't blame him.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between grief and just being like attacking someone. And I've never really given him grief, but I don't agree with his position on his position. We all know what that position is. But at the end of the day, I'm not personal against him. I know he thinks it might be at times, but I'm just attacking the argument. And I was never rude to him. I was always polite because I see him as an elder. And I think we should remember that we don't need to be aggressive because we're in the control seat here.
Deliberate obfuscation is not being nice. No.
Fair enough. I'm sure we'll see Mark Doxey around again in future. But any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
Nope.
Impossible.
But for all the people who believe in the vacuum of space, any evidence that you can have a gas pressure, the stuff we're all breathing, without a container?
No. It's worth going back up to Google and having a look at what happens when you do a search term for gas pressure without a container. You get conspiracy cats all over it. And it's on Nathan Oakley's channel, so just check that out. It's worth checking.
What
and
about
if you see conspiracy cats in chat, make sure you ask him.
any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
No.
Nope.
Movie Deep Impact when they go to the center of the Earth.
Right, now the next
There's
question.
also one where they go through it and they get into these crystal realms, and it's fantastic. Amazing.
Yeah, I've seen crystal caves. They are pretty fantastic, actually, Arwin. I've got to give it to you there. Moving on. So, the R value. Plenty evidence of people actually utilising this mathematical R value, but is there any evidence of actual Earth radius? So, R value, gentlemen.
No.
None.
If there was any evidence, why do they use this R value in all the Earth calculators?
It's very useful to beg the question and just assume you're on a ball at the beginning of your example. Very handy if you want to convince people you're on a ball to just mandatorily, if that's a word, put them on a ball immediately. So the R value does that quite well.
Wouldn't the R value and curvature be the same question? Because don't you require curvature to have some type of radius?
Yeah, but if you automatically assume that you've got a radius, you know, there's a few of the tricks that you've got to pull as well. For example, you've got to take yourself away from the viewer of the person that's actually making an observation or taking a picture. You've got to obviously remove them from that because, you know, then you'd have rules like perspective. So you've got to do that. But ultimately speaking, in the calculation, you've got to tell the people straight away that Earth does have a radius. It doesn't matter that it doesn't or what that radius is derived from. It doesn't matter. Just so long as people understand implicitly that that is an Earth radius, meaning we are on a sphere. So long as you start on a sphere, wherever you go from there, you can make it all tally up, right? As long as the people understand that you're standing on a sphere to begin with. No. The problem being that's begging the question. You know, you should really prove that before demanding that we arbitrarily succumb to that assertion, which we don't here. Occasionally Anthony gives them hope. He says, okay, if we're on a sphere, maybe this is all what we should see, or maybe it isn't what we should see. Well, I don't like doing that. I'd much rather chop their head off and insert R anally into whoever asserts it. Reg Rhetoric, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, we all realise that I like the discussion, the debate. Nathan likes to strangle them before it happens. It's just a difference in opinion. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It just depends on what kind of mood we're in.
Yeah.
Shout out for diversity.
Indeed, absolutely. To be honest, we've learned a lot more from your methodology than mine. You know, you allow them to beg the question so you can pick apart the fallacy. And good for you. You know, it drives me absolutely bananas. You know, I wouldn't understand the intrinsic nature of the curve calculator if it wasn't for you doing that. So, you know, I'm very, very grateful as much as I express my frustration. Why are you letting them beg the question?
I think sometimes it's just beneficial for both sides if we can have the debate. That's why yesterday I wanted to talk about it. That I don't think he actually did.
So if I observe a satellite dish TV pointing up, and then I think, it's pointing to a satellite. The satellite is outer space.
Correct.
Therefore, therefore, a vacuum next to a pressurized system without a container, I guess, right?
That's exactly an affirming the consequent. Wonder where you learnt that one. You must have gone to an intelligent school to understand that one.
Oh, that was Rene in the earlier debates. Rene arguing the satellites.
Yeah, Rene.
Yeah, I think there's a spot open in the panel, so if there's any ballers that want to join and present something.
Nah, ballers don't want to join anymore. They've realised that they haven't got any good evidence, and they just stay away. Nathan, we're going to have to branch out. We're going to have to find an alternate thing to do because, I don't know, how are we going to sustain ourselves without ballers to come in and tell us that it's a ball and for us to destroy their arguments? What are we going to do?
The ballers are going to keep on balling. That's why we have things like Miles Davis. They still want to assert this nonsense. They still want to draw orthographic views of things and tell you that flat Earth doesn't work and exclude perspective. They're still going to do all this crap. So that makes no odds. The fact that they're terrified of actually having their asses handed to them live, well, you can blame them. But there's still going to be that odd guy that comes along and watches 10 minutes of a debate or tunes in live when we're just having a chit-chat about something and thinks, God, these flat earthers, what the hell do they know? Don't they understand that gravity is something? I'm just going to go in and tell them. And that'll happen from time to time. People will come along and go, God, don't you guys know about gravity? We're going to go, oh, right, don't you watch the housekeeping? Yeah, I just wasn't paying attention, though. Oh, right, well, those questions mean something. You should pay attention. That'll happen. It does happen. It has happened, and it will continue to happen, so long as the general paradigm is that you live on a sphere. People come to this show thinking, really? What are they talking about? And, yeah, there'll be a lull where we'll be talking about something fairly benign or totally off topic if I don't do my job properly, and then someone will think, God, these guys are idiots, and come in and try and tell us that gravity is real, or that if you beg the question and use a curve calculator, or they'll shove Soundly's pictures on. Back when the debate started, it was have a look at NASA's footage. You got Paper Explanator and Curve Water showing us NASA footage. Those days are long gone. Now it's Soundly. Right, okay. Well, there'll be a new bullshit version of what proves the sphere come along in future as well. We'll look at it and go, God, what's the latest fallacy they're utilising? Point it out very quickly, hand a few people their asses, and then it'll be back to calm and nice like it is now. There's a gap on the panel. Anybody could join. Why don't they?
Great comment. I just read in the chat by Ronnie O'Sullivan. He say, all McDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. Thank you.
That was really...
I would love somebody to come back in with NASA footage.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Let's try that again.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. But maybe the only way that would happen is if literally under those circumstances somebody tunes in halfway through, we're just talking about something fairly benign, and they go, don't these guys know that we've got pictures of Earth from space? And then they come in and go, didn't you know that we took pictures when we went to the moon? We go, really? How do you have gas pressure without a container? What are you talking about? Well, we're all breathing gas pressure, right? And you've got a vacuum that they travelled through. And suddenly their whole argument just falls apart based on one housekeeping question.
Unless, of course, you're conspiracy cats and you just refuse to answer the question, even though it's been asked, 300 times, however many times it is. You can just keep refusing it and handwave dismiss it and think that for conspiracy cats is enough for it to go away.
Yeah, and baffle people with bullshit about pressure gradients, which doesn't actually address the question. Just like George did, again on a recent after show. So tune into my second channel, there's a link in the info box. I will upload the last show, the one that's just gone. So if you're a late riser and didn't catch the first show, it goes out on my second channel as a premiere straight after the live show, the second live show, this live show ends. Hey, P Mars, how you doing? So tune in. I've forgotten the point of why I was telling you that now. There must have been a reason, but P joined.
It was to talk about the people that used to join that don't join anymore.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, Riley. Speaking of people with no arguments.
Hooray.
Yes. Anyway, Everyone just
Paul, you use your sock to plug your marriage. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just come to play crap. Let's kick him out. Bye-bye, P. Did he manage
Plain sight wanted to join the show. He put in the chat, so there's a spot open. Plain sight, you can join now.
Click the link in the info box if you want to join.
Bring evidence.
Yeah, that was it. That was my point of plugging my second channel. So George Netanyahu came on and he was arguing with somebody about how you could see infinite distances, that a photon won't lose any of its power. And when it came to improving that assertion, it was because it's travelling through a vacuum. And then I asked him the question, well, how have we got gas pressure then? And his only reply was to start talking about a gradient. And I was like, well, at some stage then you've got pressure next to a vacuum. No, there's no pressure next to a vacuum. And you're like, okay. So we've got gas pressure. Out there's a vacuum. There is no barrier. It's an open system. You can travel to the moon if you're a globehead retard. So how have we still got pressure? There is no answer. There's just a red herring to offer up, which is to say, we've got a pressure gradient. Yeah, pressure gradient. Yeah, I get that. We've got gas pressure. Yeah. How is that possible next to a vacuum? We've got a pressure gradient. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Why isn't it dispersing into the vacuum as you would expect it to?
That's all they got, huh? Is that pressure gradient. That's all. That's the only argument they have.
It's not an argument. It doesn't address the question in any way, shape, or form. To say we've got a pressure gradient, okay, yeah. So we've got gas pressure gradient. Adding an extra word on to my question about how do we have gas pressure, okay, how do we have a gas pressure gradient next to a vacuum? Not possible. Entropy still rules, even if you've got a gradient. Who cares?
Plain sight, if you want to join, it's not going to work from the app. If you're in a mobile phone, it's going to take you to the app store. So open an internet browser, then open the Flat Earth Debate Show in the Internet Explorer on the mobile phone, and then click the link in there, and it will take you to the Hangouts.
Ah, is that what you do if you're on a Android? Certainly not Apple's on Apple.
I try clicking it, and it takes me to the App Store, like to reinstall it. So what I do is I copy the link and I send it to my text message myself, and then click it from the text messages. It works for me that way. But it also works from the Internet Explorer on the mobile phone.
Groovy.
That's worth knowing.
For me, it takes me to the App Store. It makes me have to log back into Google in order to get on the Hangout. So if
then you know now. Open the Internet Explorer or copy the link and send it to yourself in the text messages.
No, I do. That's exactly what I do.
I do it on an iPhone.
When I had to figure it out at first.
If I try and get into someone else's Hangout on the iPad or iPhone, often it will take me to an empty Hangout. Occasionally you'll go into a Hangout and there'll be several people who've done the same thing. It happened on sun tracking, so people would explain that they'd all joined on their phone and it'd taken them to an empty room, and then someone else joined the same empty room, so there's two people in a random room that's not linked to the Hangout in any way. But people were joining it on iPhones. It was really weird.
That would happen to me a lot though when I tried to join this Hangout before I started getting the Skype. I would try to join and I'd be in a room by myself. And then somebody else would join and be like, "Hi, what the hell are we doing here? Where's Nathan? Where's everybody else?"
Hangouts.
I would have joined the show a lot earlier than I did, but I kept trying and I kept telling me to the App Store, and I couldn't figure it out until freaking month after, you know.
There you go. Hopefully we'll get a new guest if he goes to his browser as opposed to watching it on YouTube and trying that way. So try in the browser version of YouTube and click the link in the info box below the video. Hopefully we'll see a new guest. Presumably on a computer it's the same for everyone. They just click on it, it comes here.
Yeah.
Yeah, glitchy, but on the other hand, it does still work. This is functioning. The show works well. Yeah, you can snipe. People gripe and moan about the various faults of Google Hangouts, but to me, this is astonishing. We're all spread out all over the plane, having a conversation as live. There's no delay.
Indeed, the future is now.
Hail YouTube.
Praise Helios.
So, can we discuss a bit more about Logan Paul? I've heard Mark's side of the story now. So if anybody else has listened to Mark's broadcast about this, anybody?
I have not.
I haven't either.
Well, I'll give you the broad strokes. Mark said, look, this guy disgusts me. I didn't want to be around him in any way, shape or form. So at first there was rumours that it could be him. I slept on it, woke up and found out it was him and went home. That's the short version of what Mark Sargent said about it. Yeah, he's spoken about him in the past when the suicide thing was being aired all over the news and was actually mainstream. And Mark wasn't impressed. And I think the other thing he added was like, I don't want to be a hypocrite. He said, I don't want to be a hypocrite.
No, this is just ocean footage. So these are oil rigs. So I'm trying to put it together so you can get a contrast. But, so this is like 5:40 in the morning, okay?
He's not talking to us.
Probably, I would say, maybe.
I think he's talking to someone else.
So you've got the full rig. Basically the full rig.
Let's pop him on mute while he talks shop. So, yeah, Mark was basically saying, I don't want to be a hypocrite and, say I find this behaviour disgusting, he's not a good role model, and then shake his hand and talk to him on stage. He's like, no, for better or worse, I'm going to stand by my words. I do find him disgusting. I literally hate the man. Those were his words. And I don't want to be anywhere near him. And I thought, good for you. I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I talked about it a little bit on the Flat Earth Early Bird show as well. Rasta explained the fine details of it.
Wait, so this Logan Paul was the special guest that Robbie Davidson said he was going to bring? Is that who this guy is? Because I have no idea who this guy is.
I've not heard of him either, to be honest.
He's just a really high subscriber YouTuber that is like a clown, an internet troll that just happens to be really popular.
Do I gotta really search for this guy now that this whole thing with Mark is going on? Like, is he even relevant?
Nah.
No. Okay. Just checking.
I've never heard of him either, but this is where it's a bit conspiratorial because that, like I said yesterday, Roxanne, England, activism, regular shows, hangouts all the time, never come across her. It's like, what? How can that be? And I think a lot of it's to do with not putting Flat Earth in your title. I think that observation was valid.
Is this like the new PewDiePie or something like that?
Is it what?
Nah, not as big as that, but
is he like a PewDiePie type of guy? He
kind
just
of.
make crappy videos and he got a bunch
PewDiePie
of
deals with games, and this guy just fools around and goes to places and tapes.
Like Jackass, but for YouTube.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Mark has been preparing to go to this conference for a while now. So, like, the fact that this one guy is there and it's going to fuck him up to the point where he's just going to leave, he must really hate the guy.
Well, like, maybe it's not that he hates the guy. Maybe it's that he hates something that he's done.
No. He said those words, I hate this guy. So I think it is just literally he's got utter disdain for him and his actions generally because he's like a troll. So, his general MO is to go around trolling people.
Guest. But also the fact that he was brought in as a special guest, very misplaced, is just weird, out of place.
Hey, big hello to Apollo. Apollo is here in the panel. You're not drunk today, Apollo, right? Are you?
Yeah, hey, Apollo.
Hey.
Oh, well. I suppose the downside of what Mark did was the people that went there to see Mark, because he will have a lot of people that went to see just him. He's kind of let them down, hasn't he, really? I suppose he must have took that into consideration, but on the other hand, I can't really fault him for not wanting to be in the presence of somebody that he can't stand. I mean, why would anybody do that? They wouldn't, would they?
especially if he's that much of a troll. I mean, why would somebody like that even go to a Flat Earth conference? And then why would somebody like that be invited to it? You know, like that sounds crazy to me.
It's interesting to know why was he invited? That would be an interesting one to know, because it doesn't seem to make sense.
Well, I don't talk to Robbie Davidson, so I don't know.
I could ask him, but I'm not going to do while it's raw. I don't know. See, it might not even be an issue. It might have just been a mistake and an innocent one at that. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Interesting comment from George Nathan Oakley here in the chat.
Oh, you mean George that can't prove Coriolis?
Yeah, he say, Nathan does not understand even the basics enough to have a discussion among adults. He is a man-child with anger issues and throws a tantrum when he does not get his way. Ho ho.
Well, I agree to some extent on the second part of his sentence. Nathan does lose his temper at times, and I don't necessarily agree with it. But on the other hand, how much shit do you have to take before these morons obfuscate the truth? We're asking them specifically for certain things, and we're getting everything back but the thing we're asking for. And ultimately, why should we put up with that? It's bad. What you're doing, George, is projecting the fact that your guys can't prove your claims as true, and you're complaining that Nathan's demanding it. And I think that's completely disingenuous. I don't know why you would not realize that your own failings are the reason for why Nathan shows his frustrations. Get over it. Anyway, Nathan, would you give us a 5-minute warning though before you wrap up the show today?
Yeah, I mean, we've only been going under half an hour, so there's no.
Yeah, I know, but sometimes you finish bang on the hour, and then sometimes you overrun if you've not got a lot to do or whatever. And then you don't you end it without telling anyone. So it's like if you want to close by saying something, then that opportunity gets missed.
Sure. I mean, well, just so you know, I'm trying to keep it more consistent from now on, which is to say that each of the shows on Nathan Oakley 1980 will be an hour or less. You know, occasionally I'll run over accidentally because there's a, critical conversation going on, and then I will obviously keep it going longer. But on the whole, they'll be, 50, 55, 58, whatever minutes long. And then they'll continue on the after show or pre-show.
Well, so much for the whole body of science, Rumpus. I remember that phrase was bandied around for a while. Seems to have died now, doesn't it? Whole body of science, my ass.
It's a reification fallacy.
Why can't of science?
It's embarrassing that there's even the conversation. We shouldn't have to be demanding that we prove that they prove their position. It should just be a given that it's just like, they can do this thing, and they clearly can't. Otherwise, they would do.
I like how triggered they are, though. Look how keen they are, chatting away. Big fans of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Thanks, George. Came in by saying how rubbish the show was, but he's here. He's hooked, addicted. It's what I need. That kind of loyalty is what I need, Rumpus. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in.
Although on saying that, Rumpus, I'd be quite happy if you didn't come in.
Nah, loyal participant, Rumpus.
Yeah, loyal is one thing, but I wouldn't class it as a participant.
I wish all viewers were as dedicated to this channel as Rumpus is.
Arwin, have you had any thoughts on how to invent gravity for the Santa's sleigh?
Oh.
That's a valid...
Electrostatics. I told you, no, don't need gravity. Electrostatics. Remember that device?
Yeah.
Like the floaty chair thing?
Yeah.
Oh, apply a system like that.
Because I think that's where you could validly. I think that's where we could validly apply like theoretical positions for gravity. We could just use it in the context of Santa's sleigh, and then kind of.
No, but gravity really has. It's just still just an aberration. It's conceptual. You're not actually dealing with that. You just need a form of force-generated propulsion. So that electrostatic type of propulsion could work. The problem will be though with the reindeer, unless they have like they are suspended on these devices or have harnesses, if that is doable. But yeah, who knows? Maybe in the future we're gonna have a gimmick where there will be an actual physical Santa and reindeer.
Somebody slipped some acid into my drink. What the hell is going on?
Won't electrostatic gravity cause interference with electronics? You know, because there will be a magnetic field, so it will mess with sensitive electronics.
Potentially, yes. But it would be distance based mostly, so it's not going to be a wide, huge field. It's just going to be relatively local, I imagine. So maybe if you bring your mobile or whatever, it's going to get fried or something. Yeah, potentially. So you have to probably have special. Oh my God, I'm taking this so serious. But anyway, yeah, something like that could be technically possible.
Thank you, Arwijn.
You're welcome.
So when you pronounce it Arwijn, is that because it's like a dialect thing, or is it because it's
no? That's Dutch.
Oh right, it's not the wine at the end bit that he's focusing on.
It's Arwijn. But
Arwijn.
It's the vocabulary of the Dutch language. Arwin is perfect.
So, any other Ball Earth believers out there with any evidence at all? Or are you all going to sit there in silence and tell us how stupid we all are? Isn't that lovely?
I don't like that word, electrostatic gravity. I don't know why.
Electrostatic propulsion? Why not?
Okay, well, yeah, that sounds a bit better. But, you know, just the electrostatic gravity sounds sounds like a word.
No, but gravity is just a concept. It's calculus based. It's very useful as a calculus tool to do certain things, but it's not. It's an aberration. So in the real world, you're going to have to deal with real things, and a propulsion requires an actual force of some kind. And I think that electrostatic propulsion is a very viable form of levitation-based propulsion.
Can we keep this in our application to Santa's slide, just so that people don't think it's a reification fallacy?
Sure. I mean, Arwin just said it's an aberration that could be that's in the mats that's put into a plain paper. But in my opinion, based on its concept, it will stay in a plain paper, but not into its actual my reality.
Seem to be triggering a lot of people in chat.
Why don't we have hover skateboards with this concept, Arwin? No? Anyway, did I kill the conversation?
I'm not much for a wine guy, so if I had my own brand of wine, it would probably be a form of mead, because I do like that. Who knows?
Shout out to Brandon Toy for the super chat. Much obliged. Thank you very much. The Earth is obviously a spinning, speeding, and careering marble, morons. Is that so, Brandon? I don't know if I agree.
Let's not forget, Brandon, about your moments of greatness that you with the rumpus in GeoStreamer. For anybody that's not aware, Brandon was having a conversation with GeoStreamer, and basically he was about to point out that there was a complete fallacy in what GeoStreamer was arguing. Rumpus identified that was about to happen, and Rumpus the Hangout intentionally so that he got kicked. And it was the case that he would rather get kicked out of the Hangout than and take one for the team than it would be to tell the truth. And of course, the truth in this case was the Etvos effect graph that GeoStreamer was relying on doesn't prove anything. It's just a map based on their model, not based on real world application at all in any way. So shout out to Brandon Toy.
I concur. I heard that hangout. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was a great moment. Just shows how intellectually dishonest they are, particularly the Rumpus.
Shows how ridiculous Rumpus is. He's getting kicked out by his own people. Like, that's how ridiculous Rumpus is.
Not particularly, but also persistently intellectually dishonest.
No, it's like a strategic foul. It's like, you know, chopping down the legs of their best forward in a football game. So you get sent off knowing that, you know, most of your best team is already injured anyway, or you've got a crap team. Whatever, you know, it's just strategic foul.
But what was glorious about it is that GeoStreamer had no idea what was happening. He didn't understand. He didn't get that he was about to get destroyed by Brandon. It was brilliant.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of that on the older debates. So you mentioned in the comments that he's been working his way through some of the old debates, and he pulled out. I don't know if you subscribe to Ute. Subscribe to Ute. If you're in the chat, say something Ute so people can click on you and go to your homepage and subscribe. Anyway, he went and pulled out the bit where Paper Explanator says, well, you have to assume the sun is 93 million miles away. So he just snipped that out, and I'm like, yeah, Ute's going through and picking out all these nice little snippets. But back then, that was when they did obfuscate in the same way they do on the Non Sequitur channel. And, you know, you've got George Netanyahu at the moment in the chat saying, oh, Nathan will just get very angry and obfuscate with bullshit. It's like, no, the last interaction I had with George was him telling me that light travels for an indefinite period of time through a vacuum. And then when I asked him how we have gas pressure next to a vacuum, he said, we don't have gas pressure next to a vacuum. It's like, well, yeah, you do. We have gas pressure here and a vacuum out there. And there's nothing in between. So we do, according to your bullshit religion. But then he got very angry and obfuscated and talked over me, and I called him a senile old bastard, like I normally do, because that's all he's got in his arsenal. Nothing, in other words. So they don't like that. George especially. Oh well, never mind. On the Non Sequitur channel, they'd praise you and tell you'd won. Go there. Here, we're reality sandwich people. Num num num. Yum it down.
Non sequitur.
Rumpus will just get in a fight with them. I think Rumpus gets in fights with everyone, I imagine.
Even with me.
This is just everyone default. He might start out friendly, but always will end up trying to be an egomaniac asshole. Who's the best?
I remember once I actually went on Rumpus's channel for a hangout, and he was presenting his case, right? It took him 24 minutes. I didn't get a word to say. I was speaking to all of his chat and having a conversation about something completely off topic, and he just didn't.
Yeah, I was there.
24 minutes. He hadn't took a breath.
Yeah, I was in the chat chatting along with you and the other guys. I think the only bowler in all the flatter debate shows from 0 to 600 plus, Rumpus is the one that have had 20 minutes uninterrupted presenting numbers and equations and just babbling around for 20 solid minutes with a panel full of 10 people. Incredible.
Wow. George Netanyahu in chat now claims that he can, capital letters, can measure the sun distance.
No, we can't.
He did it in a hangout a few weeks ago.
I think it's what Nathan. Do you remember when we went on the non-sex show, and basically we all ended up leaving because somehow Rumpus had managed to persuade the host, what was his name, Deceive, that he could explain completely what was going on with regards to the Isle of Man footage, and without reference whatsoever in any way, shape, or form to the evidence that was being presented and challenged. Somehow it was declared void, and they never even put eyes on it. And I thought that was a bit odd.
It was amazing, wasn't it? Back then, it was all important how high you were. It was very important to get the distance, critical in fact, to make sure you knew exactly how high the thing you were observing was and how high you were in reference to it. And yet, the radius value was there the whole time, being utilised and assumed. Ah, those were the days. Now we say, well, why? Why does it have to look this way? Oh, because the radius says so. Nah, it's not that. Those days are long gone. But I remember, apparently we were faking flat because we went by Google statistics. Do you remember? Well, now we say we don't care what any calculator says we should or shouldn't see because it's meaningless. Oh, what's that value you use there? Radius? How do you prove that then? Oh, what's that you say? You just presuppose it in every single example. That's a shame. That's why we're sitting pretty.
Funny how they used to use Google Earth all the time. And then when we started using Google Earth to destroy their own arguments, all of a sudden, no, Google Earth is not good.
Yeah, they set it on fire.
It's not our model.
It's only good enough if we can't use it.
Yeah, that's right.
My favourite bit in that was when Brenda came back in and didn't know that her own side had set that on fire. She asserts it as, oh, of course we've got a model, we've got Google Earth. Oh, didn't you know your own side set it on fire on the non-sec show?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Wonderful. Ah, Brenda. Another one that's good for comic value.
Crepuscular Reigns of Parallel. That was my favourite one with her.
Oh my god, yes. Ridiculous.
Crepuscular rays are just an optical phenomena, just like the apparent sun is. That's all.
Is it an aberration?
I agree.
Yes.
Oh, God, come on. That's fair enough comment, isn't it? Absolutely, Arian. I totally agree.
I agree.
Right.
And
it is also an aberration, yes, because we can't determine the cause of it.
Ooh.
Yet
one of the
we
more
clearly see the symptoms right there, and we can describe it. That's the funny thing about it. We have no
one of
idea
the
what
clearest
causes it.
videos, one of the clearest videos of crepuscular rays converging into anti-crepuscular rays in the other side has been taken by me about a month ago on my channel.
How's the moon looking? I can see it right here out of my window.
Moon doesn't look at anything. That's a reification fallacy.
How does the moon appear to you guys?
There is no distance to the moon.
I'm not asking about the distance.
I don't see it. It's hidden. It's anti-portal to my feet. It's underneath my feet. What?
I can see it right here out of the window.
I thought what was interesting with them Scott Veach and Betty's server the other day. He admitted he couldn't prove antipodal status for the stars. He admitted it. I was like, well, if you can't prove it, then that's kind of my point, isn't it? But he admits he can't prove it, but he does believe it. Antipodal, what a great word that is.
Can you see it? It's right behind the tree.
You guys see the moon? Do you guys see like this bright star right next to it?
Another shout out to Brandon Toy. Thanks again for the super chat.
I don't know which star it is because I have yet to download one of those apps. But every time I see the moon, there's this star or whatever it is, like to the right of it, and it usually looks very reddish. You guys know what that is? Is that Mars or something? Or I don't know what that is.
When was the last time you saw it?
Yesterday, last night.
Yeah. Okay. So it should still be in that same area. So it just depends on if it's moving through a constellation. It'll be in the same constellation But if it is a wandering star, if it is Mars, then obviously you'll be able to find out which one it is if you do have an app that that shows
Yeah, I
you.
gotta get one of those.
Supposed to be Mars.
I mean, if it is red, it's typically that's the only one that is red, and that's Mars. So,
Because
I
from
just
where
checked in the Sky
from
View
where
app,
I
it is
am,
Mars.
it's always to the right of the moon, and it moves along with it.
oh, so Jose, you're seeing it. It shows Mars right next to it.
Yeah, it shows Mars. Yeah.
Okay.
Side point. I found the moon, and it's a little bit to the right.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you, Jose. Which app do you use? What do you recommend for that?
I use Skyview in Android phone.
Skyview? Okay. Trying to look for that.
Do some chat shout outs. Got some very happy people in the chat, I see. Anybody object? Shout out to Ronnie O'Sullivan. Shout out to George Netanuk. Mercury Messenger, good to have you. Roger MC, thanks for being in the chat. The Rumpus, nice to see you. Dedicated fan that you are. Hey,
Shout out.
Astral Traveller, good to have you. AJM, nice to see you. John Watson, thanks for being here. Colorado Forest Beings, another dedicated fan, thanks for being here. Good to see you. Dank, hello. Them Exposed, hello. Ute, you're a star. Oh, too fast. Ian Matheson, hello. Daniel Field, hello. Let's go back to the bottom. Hopefully I've missed a few, but... Bolt, hello. David Reed, hello. Nice to see you. Thanks for being in our chat. Jose, you're on the show. David Irving, thanks for being here. Lair Bear, nice to see you. Biz, what is it? Biz71, hello. Hey you, hello. Musicians for Truth. Good to see you, Dread. The Brain, hello. Feel free to join in with the shout out. CGI Ranty, woo woo woo, hello. A Face, good to see you. Eric, nice to have you here. Only sheep can't see. Only sheeple can't see, is that right? Probably made that wrong. Hello, good to have you. Vegan Guy, hello. Slick James Johnson, good day to you too. Ricky Subtle, yo. Darla02, Mong Patrol, I think I've read everyone. Joseph Saunders, I think I've got you. FE Viking, Juan Carlos, good to see you as well.
What I want to know is, does anybody know where the list of Flatty Awards are? I'm going to be looking for my name because I've got to want something. Sure.
Janelle, good to see you. Andre, good to see you.
Sorry to disappoint you, Tony.
Oh, I didn't get one.
No.
Hey, Apollo.
How many were there?
Yeah, awards.
There was over 20.
Really?
Yeah, there were a couple silly categories, but what can you do? It's all for fun. But yeah,
all fun's good.
I do think they could have had a few more serious categories, like the one you mentioned for Ranty.
Yeah, the Wonky Horizon Award.
Yeah.
Don't lose hope, Riley. You might win a Dumb Fuck of the Year by Rhetorics.
I don't think so. He's retired, hasn't he?
Guten Tag, Alex. Hey, Thunderclap. A few others. I'll try and keep in flat world logic. Good to see you. Physics is on the show.
Yeah, I heard Rhetorics the other day. He said he cannot. He was retired, but he had to come back, so he's up for any debates, and he probably gonna host his little clown show.
Rampacked chat room. Stop lying. Hello. Journey's Wake. Hello. Yeah, that's it. I must have done everybody. Happy people in the chat. Preserving the truth. I didn't think I said hello to you. What about Bob? Good video. Thank you very much. Haven't seen you for a while. Good to have you here. What about Bob? I'm going to stop now. That's it. If I've missed you, tough. For everyone else, you're all ace. Thank you for sharing the show.
mopped it up with that dirty t-shirt. Fine.
Dirty t-shirt, not one of mine.
We hear you, Riley.
I was just mopping up dog sick. She's been sick all over me on the floor.
Beautiful. Thanks for keeping us up to date. So we didn't get many panel reactions to the guy from yesterday being fed in the background. Pretty much all of you were on the panel when we played it back today.
I missed it, Nathan.
I heard it. I was listening to it again this morning before even Arwen's show started. I was up early for work, and yeah, I clearly heard something amiss with that. Like it did sound like somebody said down, and then he repeated it right afterwards. It was a little weird. And then just in full context, just the way when he came in, and he had an intro, and he went straight into his background. It all seemed just very prepared to me. I don't know. That's just me, though. I don't know.
My first impressions of him was he was just a bloke, a normal bloke, and then he said that he was a geodetic surveyor, and I thought there's an air of like expertise that you just feel when you've got somebody that's a subject matter expert in some capacity, and I just didn't get that with him. He just felt like it was just a normal dude.
Felt like he was reading a script.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like to me. And then when I said, you have any certificates or anything? Oh, yeah, my wife might know where that is. Yeah, okay, buddy.
Yeah, as the show progressed, I got the feel that he knew a lot about this show, probably even Miles Davis himself, because he came because of Miles Davis videos, and he'd been listening to this interaction the last week or so. So I think Miles Davis, had to school him on how to participate in the show, and yeah, he knew what he was doing, and he was being fed, who knows, by Miles Davis himself.
Yeah, I think it's basically a backdoor way of Miles Davis trying to get his view across, but not having to come on the show because he's a yellow belly.
I agree with that.
Is that Adam? Welcome back.
Yeah. Hi guys. I couldn't sleep, so I started doing some maths.
I normally start doing some maths and go to sleep.
I know how that feels. I can totally relate.
Can I quickly screen share, guys?
Which can?
Okay. Can you see my screen with the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I've figured out what.
Clear. Click on my thumbnail if you want to watch inside the Hangout.
I've figured out what he's done with this correction maths that he's provided, and basically what it does is like I said, it has to be worked on the premise that it's a straight line of transit, which I think we all agree isn't in the picture. But if we give that premise first of all, what it does basically, it does split it like that, but in a very basic way, and it basically just apportions it. So all the numbers were the same as he points out, but what this does is apportion it in terms of above the line. So I've just quickly done it again, and from Soundly's ordering from his video here, that's the flat plane stuff, and what I've done here is just reapportion. I've not been able to use his spreadsheet because I've not got the exact formulas, but I've checked a few back working, and they are proportional to the relative height and its relativeness to the 210 meters, which is the center line. So I've done that on there, and that gives a ball perspective ordering of the peaks of B, C, S, E, D, M. And like I said, when I did it before with my maths, we had using Spearman's rank correlation coefficient, which is 1 minus sigma d squared over n multiplied by m to the minus 1. Now, obviously, n in this stuff is quite low, so statistical inference is therefore reduced. But again, I'm not trying to put a definitive number. I'm just trying to do comparisons of the two models. So in my initial one, what you saw was that the when compared via rank order of how the two models fit the observation, the flat plane came out at virtually 1.99, and the ball model came out at 0.93, which is 7 times the variance of the ball model to that of the flat version. Now, I've taken these figures from Soundly's work here, the blue ones, and these purple ones here. I'll colour them in. That's affecting my OCD. That's better. These purple ones here is what I've calculated from what I've been able to analyse of how he's recalculated these figures. Like I say, it's proportional. So that's that there. Now, obviously, I did say it would improve it. Now, if we take the bottom figures here, this is just the flat plane figures. You see that now there is a 100% correlation between the flat plane rank ordering based on Soundly's way of calculating it and the observed image rank sizing. When you compare that to the ball model rank ordering compared to the observed, you see that there's a variance. Look, these two are the wrong way around, and so a few down here. So a 0.98, but this is perfect. This is now absolutely spot on, and this has a very similar, less variance than when using just the basic figures. But like I say, what it does is it improves that, and it improves this one no end. I disagree with its use on the premise that you're not able to validate that flat plane, but hopefully, guys, that clears it all up. But obviously, what Soundly's done is he's improved it, and thank you. But it doesn't change the point that was being made, which he still hasn't addressed.
Can you remake that point again, please?
Yeah, that being that what we're trying to do here is not is to compare the two possibilities of the layout of the peaks being on a flat plane with the basic calculations, which is what Soundly provided, improved versions of the flat plane calculations, compared to how the peaks would be laid out on a ball. And what it does show is that it's perfectly reasonable that the image could be on a flat plane. It doesn't prove it, but what it does show is that this image could not be on a ball, because the rank ordering, the heights of the peaks would look slightly different to their basic size because of the effect that curvature would have on reducing it. So obviously the further ones away have more relative reduction to the nearer ones, irrespective of their height. So with that in mind, for me, it's a great, not flat earth proof, but again, a great ball earth disproof.
Excellent. Thank you very much for doing that, Adam.
Always, guys.
And with that, I'm going to say, first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And, of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you missed the first show, it will rebroadcast along with the pre-show on my second channel, which is Nathan Oakley. A link will get posted in the chat as the outro plays. One last time, a massive thank you to all of you for tuning in. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Da-da-dun, da-da-dun.
Easy show.
Yeah, I like it when it's calm. Nice, huh?
Didn't even get any trolls in today.
There again, Anthony, you've gone all quiet.
Didn't even get any trolls in trying to troll.
Ah, wait, it's fine. Just react to the chat. I like how your insomnia drives you to maths things, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how you can't sleep, so you get up and do a bit of maths. It's the other way around for me. It's like start doing a bit of maths and I end up.
Oh, I hate sitting there not doing anything.
It shows that maths can never prove anything because depending on what maths you do will govern your perception based on what you think you're proving.
Maths always has to is if maths can prove something if it perfectly mirrors the reality. But that's an almost impossibility. And as I'm saying here, the margin of error in this photograph away from a 100% transit between the center of the camera and the top of that thing is just over 45 kilometers. You know, 0.0001 of a mil is going to take that angle out massively and have massive impact on the parallax of the hills another 40 or 50 kilometers away.
Yeah.
You know, it completely invalidates the maths we're using, which is why I always went along with just the basic angular size things as a representation of the relative heights as you would see them, not trying to use angular size as some form of definitive calculation. Hence, once I got the numbers, I only used rank ordering on them. There's no real validity to the numbers because you can't directly apply them to the image. So you can only use them as a guide to how it would look on the models.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's done us a favour, hasn't it? It's 100% now on the flat model. So
I'm glad that you say it doesn't prove it because, as Anthony points out, if you're trying to disprove that maths is not reality, and you say, well, it proves it's a flat plane with the mathematics, it's like, oh God, we're just total hypocrites.
no, it doesn't prove. That's why I was clearly said. All it shows is that it's feasible on a flat plane, but it's not feasible on a ball because the rank ordering is different. If I scroll down, look, you'll just see it here. And the reality is when you apply this across the mathematics, look, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5, 6 on the ball. But here, look, it's 1 and 2 and 3 are a different way round, and so is 5 and 6 when you put it on the ball. So that's just a fact of putting those peaks on a ball at those distances. That's just a geometric fact. And it's that fact that says nothing about the flat plane model, but it does say that these observations are not commensurate with observations of these peaks on a ball. It's not, they're not that. That's all you can say from that bit of analysis.
Yeah. They'll ignore that though with just the usual hand wave dismissal.
But it doesn't allow you to make the same definitive statement with regards to the flat plane. It remains a possibility. The simple bit of maths doesn't deny it where it does with the ball model. Is that middle of the road enough for you, Nate? In terms of, I mean, but that's an honest statement. That's all. That's the only inference you can draw, in my opinion. Not like anything more profound.
Oh, to be a baller.
Good that you can do it. Begging the question. It'd drive me nuts doing this, Adam. It really would. I like watching you do it. Having it presented to me, having you carefully, painstakingly go through it, calculate it all, plug it in and compare it is great. Thank you.
Oh, I missed the ending.
Did Spiro ever come to the debate? You guys know?
Sorry, were you talking to me?
Yes, Nathan. Do you know if you heard a guy named Spiro?
Hold on, I didn't hear what you said, physics. I'll just turn you up. Bear with me a second.
Okay.
No.
Say that one more time.
Was this guy named Sphero? Did he ever come to the
Talkative in here, then, is it?
What's that?
Spiros has not been on the Flat Earth debate, if that's what your question is.
Thanks.
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Spiros Mekalakalakalakalus or whatever, the astrophysicist.
Okay. I thought he was before, but all right. I'm sure Shasha will take care of that.
All right, boys and girls are going to drop. Have a good day, and if anybody finds any curve, give us a shout.
Ha.
Take care, Riley.
Later.
Travis.
Hold your butt.
You still there, Travis?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, listen. I just came in on Ponchos and got to know a little bit of Sasha. Do you know anything more about Sasha and what she's doing with the interview with Sphero? Because I find
Are they setting up another interview, or are you talking about the one that they did before, like last month?
Yes, last month and the next one, because I find it kind of interesting, and the discussions that's coming out and the dream team that's a part of it.
Okay. I mean, all I know is what you saw, what they presented. I watched it when it was live, and so I mean, I don't think that I can add any more. And then I haven't been following Poncho enough to know what they're doing next.
Well, I think with Sasha, it's in Sasha's channel, so I'm or with Dan the Waterman. Yes, I think he's the one doing it. So I'm gonna try to get a hold of Dan and see what's that, because what I'm gathering, they don't even know exactly what he does. But I mean, the stuff he's asserting is kind of interesting, and they find him very interesting. So
okay,
sure. That's why I thought I'd ask a couple questions that if you knew anything about her.
No, I don't.
All right.
What did I miss?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Really? Did I literally disappear?
We're not being very talkative.
Come back with no conversation happening.
Well, look at this hard drive, Nathan.
Where is it?
Say hard drive.
Hard drive?
Yeah.
Huge.
NASA hard drive?
I know, right?
What's the capacity of that then? Is it in the megabytes?
This one is pretty big. 146 megabytes.
It's a joke, isn't it? Because then files bigger than that over Skype.
Incredible, right?
Yeah, but weighs a ton and makes the right racket.
Apollo, you still a Glober, are you?
Nope.
You're a flat earther now?
No, I'm still a globe head. Still a nope.
What proof have you got then?
I did read just yesterday an article about an amateur built miniature satellite having reached lunar orbit, and it was received in the Netherlands with an amateur radio dish. So, and it took photos onto saw the back of the moon with in the distance the Earth. And it, so that's pretty good, I think.
You got a link for this?
I would need to check it out. I just saw it on my mobile. Maybe if you type in, let's see. I think if you type in,
Not the LRO, is it?
no. Let me. Okay. Oh. It was received by the Dwingelo radio dish, which is I think it's the biggest radio dish used by amateurs. It's the biggest one. It's 25 meters in diameter. So it's massive.
Yes, what's it called?
Dwingelo.
How do you spell that?
D W I
DW.
yes I N G E I'm not sure how to pronounce this one. L and then 2 O's. So
0000.
Yeah. But that will just get you, of course, that will just get you to city. So you will need to type town. So you will need to type in like radio telescope or radio dish after it. And then you get the Dwingelo Radio Observatory. And it is currently a monument actually built in the 50s. I guess it isn't
When you
owned,
said
but
when you said W, did you mean W, not W?
isn't that the same?
No, because you've got a U and a W. So you got the letter U or the letter W.
The letter W.
W.
That's how you are supposed to say it, right?
Yeah, W.
It should be double V, but you know.
I agree. It's a double V, isn't it? It's not a W at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the U and the V is in the original language, which all these languages are based the same.
Oh, so it's something
It's
historical.
Hebrew or Greek? I don't know. But it's like that because the U and the V from which it sprung was basically the same thing. That should be Latin or whatever you're gonna regard that as, or English.
Arwen, are you going to say iron properly?
Sorry?
Are you going to say iron properly?
Iron?
No.
Iron. Iron.
You mean iron?
No, I mean iron.
Oh, ion.
No.
He means the metal.
Yeah, the metal iron.
Iron.
Yeah, iron or iron.
Well, we don't pronounce the R.
That's
Iron.
stupid. Why have an R if you aren't going to pronounce it?
Iron.
Well, you do. You've got iron. It's iron at the end.
Iron.
Yeah. Iron.
Iron. Yeah.
That's it. There you go. Iron.
Say Arwen?
Iron?
Iron?
Perfect.
Yeah, the O is suppressed. Not completely gone, but it's just
Now say anti-disestablishmentarianism.
anti-establishmentarianism.
Wow. Superb.
Anti-disestablishmentarianism.
See, it's not as easy as you think.
The one that gets me is phenomenon. Phenomenon.
Phenomena.
It's phenomena.
Phenomenon.
Or phenomenon.
I'm pretty sure it's phenomena.
No, phenomena are multiple. Phenomenon.
Yeah,
one.
But this is cool. You can actually.
They don't get it, Nathan.
That's cool.
What?
So this satellite, you can actually. The builders of the satellite have a web page up where you can view the telemetry data live. So all the numbers.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can see a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, live.
Well, if I see that, I'm going to be a Glober again.
Me too. Show me the numbers.
Sure.
Maths is reality. Numbers are reality.
I will.
These aren't any numbers. They've got a backstory attached to them. So they're real.
Yeah, you got to know what's going on with the onboard electronics. Ooh, and there's also a camera section. But the files aren't very good. They're kind of.
Hey,
These are the
Ginger.
ones from the Dwinglo radio dish, I think. Unfortunately, there seems to be a magenta color cast.
Can you screen share it? Can we have a look?
Nah. I would have to prepare for something like that. You know, I'd have to make several pages as steps and.
Is it not just got a feed that you can share?
Oh, you mean I can share my screen, of course.
That's what I mean. That's all I meant.
Okay, let me just. One moment.
Why are you looking that up? That hard drive is probably about as old as I am, right? It's about 1980 hard drive.
Yeah.
Because
I would say.
So when they were making that hard drive, you weren't even a itch in your dad's pants.
Exactly. and it still works, but the bearings are so run out that it sounds like a jet engine.
Yeah, I've heard them.
Let's see. I'm trying to share my screen, but it doesn't. Maybe.
So this dingle-do radio telescope sings out waves, and then it comes back as pings or something, and then that confirms something. Is it?
No, it's the other way around. The Dwingelo radio telescope is listening, and another telescope in Germany at the same time sends signals to the satellite to tell it what to do. So there were actually two radio dishes at play. One was commanding and one was listening to the satellites. Oh.
Well, that's proof.
I think I've got it.
So
Well,
you also believe there's a mirror on the moon that they send signals to bounce back?
Yeah, you're presenting now, but we've just got the hangout.
well, unfortunately, that there aren't any amateur lasers powerful enough to verify it yourself. So I can't say anything about the mirrors that may or not or may be on the moon. I don't know.
There you go. That's a radio telescope. Can you click on Apollo's icon if you want to see what it looks like?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, so this was built in the 50s. Several years ago, it got restored, and it is still in a working condition. So it can turn around, and it's a fully movable radio telescope. And it is mostly used by amateurs today, because of course professionals have the really big ones, but this one is used by amateurs sometimes on a regular basis, actually.
Spacecraft signal decoded after bouncing off moon.
Oh no, that's another one. That's not the one I wanted to check. Okay, so this image. I knew I had to prepare for this. Okay, so this image shows the far side of the moon as well as our own planet Earth. It was taken with a camera linked to an amateur radio receiver on board the Chinese, I can't pronounce it, satellite currently in orbit around the moon and transmitting back to Earth, where it was received with the Dwingelo telescope. This image represents the culmination of several observing sessions spread over the past few months, where we used the Dwingelo telescope in collaboration with the Chinese team from Harbin University of Technology, who built the radio telescope on board and radio amateurs.
So they wouldn't fake that, then?
Sorry?
They wouldn't fake it then.
But how do you take a radio signal coming from the sky?
Can you see the radio signal coming?
Yeah.
You can see the radio signal coming from space.
Yes, because
all you're seeing on your machine is some blip or number or something that could have easily come from somewhere else. How do you know for a fact that that's a signal coming from space?
You can employ a very directional antenna to find where the signal's coming from. You can have a very narrow beam width. I just popped in here to see, does anyone know where I could find Nummy Num?
How do they deal with Coriolis, though?
Pardon?
How do they deal with Coriolis?
I'm sorry, you're
let's not start
overmodulating. I can't quite make out what you're saying.
He asked how you deal
Back
with
up your
Coriolis.
volume a bit.
It's
No,
really
never mind.
nice.
Does anyone know where I could find Nummy Num?
Have fun
Where
with
things are?
George, guys. I'm gonna go and see you later.
I haven't seen Nummy Num today.
Does anyone know where I can find Bill Miller?
Oh man.
Who's that?
Bill Miller?
Oh, you like acting like a child, do you? Why don't you act adult once in a while?
Nah, not when you're about, George.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, later. guys.
Anyway,
I do it for a laugh like you do. Hey. Twat.
so yeah, the telescope is directional. It only receives, it only amplifies signals that are directly coming at it. Otherwise, it doesn't get deflected in the right way. That's the way
Directly coming at it from where?
from where the dish is pointed at. That's how you can tell.
Yeah, but how do you know what's sending it the signals?
Because it took photos. Yeah. That's it.
The satellite took photos and then sent signals to the satellite receiver. The dish.
Yeah. Yes.
So how do you know whatever's sending it is the thing that's supposedly taking pictures of the dark side of the moon? How do you know it's a satellite?
I guess if you observe, I guess if you listen to the signal for a long time, you will notice a pattern like Doppler shift or the moon going in front of the satellite, which would block the signal. So if the signal gets blocked when the satellite goes behind the moon, when the signal stops when it goes behind the moon, you can tell where the signal is coming from. And also because of Doppler shift, because moving targets sending out a signal, this signal will be, how do you call it? Will shift in frequency, just like an ambulance. When it goes past you, the sound changes depending on where it is.
So you can't manipulate that then?
I guess you could manipulate Doppler shift. Actually, no, you can't. Because Doppler shift also depends on your on the location of the receiver. So if they were faking a Doppler shift, it would be the same on every receiving station. And not like actual Doppler shift, which should be which changes depending on the relative location of the object to you.
So there's no way they can fake it.
No.
In your opinion?
In my opinion, which is backed by...
So, do you believe people landed on the moon?
Well, it isn't really my opinion. It's backed by people who also do this. So yeah.
Yeah. So do you believe people landed on the moon?
Yes.
I think Apollo is very trusting of NASA. So yeah, I think he believes that.
So do you believe everything that comes from NASA?
Good question. I did see a video which was made by Thunderfoot. Do any of you know him?
Nope.
No.
Oh, okay.
Never heard of him.
Well, at some point, a NASA researcher made an article claiming that she had found evidence of life based on something different than carbon. So instead of carbon-based life, she claimed to found life based on sulfur, I think. And he debunked this NASA article, and I think they eventually did they do yeah they admitted to the article being shoddy research. So that's one example where a NASA article was made with shoddy research. I wouldn't say I believe.
And that's the only flaw you found with NASA.
I do sometimes have doubts on particular things, but I can't think of any right now. I do have a few questions that I mean to ask someone that works at NASA that I am in contact with, but I just haven't gotten around asking them yet.
So you believe that NASA can't send another spacecraft to the moon because they destroyed all the technology? You believe that bit?
No.
Why not?
Because NASA has sent. You didn't specify, but I assume you mean manned spacecraft.
Yeah.
Okay, because they have actually sent unmanned spacecrafts, but in the context of this, I assumed you meant. Just wanted to clear that up.
No, in '69 they sent the 3 men to the moon, but they can't do it now because they've destroyed the technology, they say.
Yeah, I've seen the video where this guy claims that, but he's incorrect. The technology wasn't destroyed. It can be found at museum. How do you pronounce it? The Apollo technology, like the rockets or the lunar module or the computer or the command module or many of the secondary items, like cameras and suits and
Apollo, you don't think those things could just be props of things? Like, do you think that the lunar lander that's sitting in a museum was the one that actually was on the moon?
No, that would of course be impossible. There are, however, several prototype lunar modules on display, and there is one lunar module that was built to completion but was never used. And that one is also on display, so it is not a prop. It was at one point built to fly, but it was never launched. So that isn't a prop. That's actually a flown ready vehicle that was just never used.
So what would NASA have to do for you to make you think, hang on, I think they've been lying to me all these years?
like I said, I do sometimes have some doubts, and I do have some questions I want to ask, but I can't remember any of them right now. But at one point, I was very skeptical. In fact, when I first watched one of those debunking videos of the Apollo program, I was very mad, you know, at NASA for faking all of this stuff. Eventually, I got around it, and you know, would now be able to
read between the lines. Take a listen. I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again. But
And with that, I'm going to say a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of the second channel, which is Nathan Oakley. Audience, if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley channel and you don't realise that it's my second channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!